I've needed some accountability as I take on my own projects and try to set myself up as an entrepreneurial engineer. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to share my screen and go over all the things I've worked on in the last 3 months. And then we'll probably be doing these weekly updates as a bit of an accountability for myself so that I can keep making progress and tracking it and having some measure of needing to report back to this audience and learn how to talk to camera in the meantime. The first thing that I want to get done is this PhotoJam app. So I had never written a mobile app before, but PhotoJam is a photography community that I've been a part of for about a year, and it was kind of the perfect excuse to learn how to make a mobile app so that everyone who's in this community can interact with each other via one space, do the scheduling piece, the photo upload piece, the hopping on a Zoom call directly from the app. I just have to get the payment flow down for the membership and when non-members choose to participate in some of our weekly gatherings. And then the other piece is learning how to do push notifications on a Flutter app. It's been a long time coming, so it's really time to put it out into the world. And that's what you'll see for the rest of these projects too. A lot of them are a long time coming, but I haven't actually taken the steps to really put them out there. The other big project that I have in the back of my head is something I've wanted to get into for a long time, and that's using ESP32 hardware for object recognition. So let me go find one. I have these ESP32 boards that have a camera module on it. And what this allows me to do is use the super cheap hardware, but ideally take images and run through a machine learning algorithm that is fully on this board, which means you don't have to be connected to the internet, but you can still do things like detect bicycles and bike lanes. That's the first application I've wanted to work on. If I can prove out using, really advanced technology on really cheap hardware, I think that's there's going to be a ton of applications for that. Treasure Finance, or 90s Baby Finance, is a fun project that I did in like an hour and a half, where really I think I need a week to really flesh out the idea to the point that it would be ready to pitch. The idea is to gamify learning personal finance in a more friendly manner. So the idea I had to come up with was like a Oregon Trail-esque style pixel arty kind of game. As you progress through learning, content written by a bank, ideally a bank would partner with me on this app, then you would be progressing through your journey of finding the treasure or whatever. It seems kind of cheesy, but could actually be really impactful. And I have talked to a bunch of friends and people about my age, and they would buy this. So there's a bunch of work to do there, and finding the right partner is the hard part. I reached out to one local banker that I happen to have a connection to, but to do this right, I need to spend like a week really making a good memo, not just an hour and a half. And then create a compelling pitch deck doing market research. Rapid Takeoff is basically a way of speeding up the takeoff of the drywall company. So this was an idea for construction companies to be able to load in CAD files and get the linear feet of expected drywall needed directly from the CAD drawings. So instead of converting them to PDF and then literally backtracking to go find the lengths of the lines on the PDF to do estimation, why not use an open standard for the CAD files, load them into a separate program, and take those measurements there? I'm really thinking that to make this excellent, I would need probably 2 weeks of dev, really before any sort of MVP could be shown. It kind of pairs with some of my other projects, like this crew scheduler project. So this idea is to have like a Gantt chart-esque thing where you can drag and drop and schedule out all your people. There we go. And you can, check your resources and kind of have a master list of everything that's going on. You have different projects with different tasks expected or different teams put on it. Things like an interactive map where you can make sure that you're not asking your employees to drive super far. This is really cool. I'm hoping to get partnered up to a potential client about using this, but I could really get excited about building suites of software around specific tooling, like for construction crews or something like that. GeoFire is a project that maps medical record data, the FHIR data, which is a worldwide standard. Take medical records of, say, a given hospital and map it onto other geographical map data, such as, say, where lead pipes still are in your city, what houses get water from lead pipes, and the occurrence rates of various medical data. I really love the idea of making heat maps that help you understand over a geographic area what your medical records are saying about your patients. Maybe things that each individual case doesn't stir up alarm because you're not thinking about the geography at play, but then once you see it plotted on a map, it makes some public health trend quite generally clear. I need to do some more market research and understand what it would take to get investment to do this idea. If I could spend 2 weeks on it, I might be able to get some sort of MVP out. So Snapstream is basically the idea that you could have photographers at, say, a sports game and have a big QR code on their jacket and have parents in the grandstands scan the QR code as they come into a game and be able to watch in a live feed on their phone the images come through. Essentially put photos up and have them ready to purchase in a digital format. Or I think it'd be really awesome to have a printer on site, and if someone scans the QR code, puts in an order, they take home an 8x10 print directly at the game. So you can go out to ice cream with your friends afterwards and get that amazing game-winning shot picture and gift that to the player or the grandparents. If you can streamline everything except taking the photos and like working with the clients, I think a 2-person team could have a really successful way of selling directly to parents. I would set this up as a software as a service. So I provide the service of everything, where you just sign up as a photographer, you create events, you upload photos to those events, people scan a QR code specific to your page and they can see the most recent event you're currently at and purchase images directly from there. Just requires real execution. And I don't have a good excuse for why I didn't continue with this. I just got distracted by other things. My dad was walking along the river next to his house and he discovered that the water was strangely colored and was warmer than the rest of the river should be. And he actually found out that a local retirement home was dumping raw sewage into the river. And so the idea would be that at culvert outlets, you could have a little waterproof box that has its turbidity and temperature sensor in the water and potentially uses LoRa or long-range communication to send those that data log back once an hour to wherever, and maybe make like a online portfolio where it shows stats about the river health. It's pretty involved, but it's an awesome project and something I would love to do. Finding a partner, some conservation district that would want to cover the cost of my time to work on this would be really exciting. But I think there's a lot of opportunities to use small microcontrollers with a 3D printed waterproof box and simple sensors that all communicate to each other. I'm hopeful that this channel can be a bit of a way for me to stay accountable to work on the projects that I've committed to work on and actually get them across the line to be MVPs. I've often struggled with project hopping at 80%. So you get 80% of the way to a given MVP and then you just can't cross the line. So this is going to be how I continue to push myself to get better at actually delivering. Thanks for hopping on, and I will talk to you next week.